Are you thinking of relocating, but you're not willing to sacrifice your walkable neighborhood, your cool vintage home, or your access to amazing restaurants and shopping? Well, then Petaluma, California might just be your next chapter. I'm Stephanie Johnson, and I've been a real estate agent for over 20 years, and I relocated from San Francisco, where I had all those amenities, to Sonoma County, where I haven't missed a thing. And I'm now dedicated to helping people like you figure out if Sonoma County is the right place for you to land, and if so, how to get here. So join me. Today I'll be giving you a tour of Petaluma, California, and all of the wonderful things it offers you. So Petaluma's history starts here. Behind me is the original Carnegie Library that was built in 1904. And now it's a museum that features historical documents and photos. Petaluma's rich agricultural history as a dairy center, a center for poultry, and also an area where the Miwok Indians settled originally. So we've got a lot of rich history in Petaluma, and the downtown is really demonstrative of that. I mean, there are tremendous number of brick buildings, Victorian facades. A lot of the original architecture in this port town is preserved. The earthquake that devastated San Francisco really largely left Petaluma unscathed. And so as a result, the downtown has this beautiful sort of historical vibe. It feels like walking on a movie set sometimes, and I think it's what makes Petaluma one of the coolest and most historically rich towns in the county. Next, we'll take a tour down Kentucky Street and we'll kind of check out the downtown, which is a cool little center. I think you'll find that there's a tremendous number of amenities here. And if you're looking for a place to live that is rich with restaurants and shopping and cool places to hang out, I think Petaluma will definitely check that box for you. So let's take a look. You know, it's almost Christmas time, and the town of Petaluma is a place that I come to do a lot of my Christmas shopping because there's a tremendous number of beautiful stores and places here to buy unique and homemade gifts. And I actually find that some of the shopping here is better than in the city, frankly, because it's much easier to get around. There's a tremendous number of stores here. There are no big box stores here. It's all small businesses, and so you get the benefit and the feeling of really supporting your local economy as well. So I brought you down this back alley in downtown Petaluma just to give you a perspective of what really this area historically was, which was a bustling, busy port city with a lot of activity. Now there's a lot of activity, but it's more tourism and restaurants and people going to lunch, people going to coffee, people doing their holiday shopping. But then it was a busy port town, and there was a lot of activity down here that was about getting goods to and from the people who lived in Petaluma from areas like the Bay Area and beyond. So, the back alleys sort of give you that old vibe. I mean, it's been around for a while. I think one of the coolest things about Petaluma is it has a river that runs right down the middle of it. And it's really the center of life here in Petaluma, especially in the summer. People will rent paddle boards and hang out on the river. There are beer houses and places to sort of sit and look at the river and have a pint and just relax. Restaurants line these riverbanks with their chairs and tables in the summertime, and so it's really lovely. It's winter now, and so it's a little less vibrant, but trust me, this riverfront is a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful place to walk the dog and just hang out with friends because there's a tremendous number of paths that walk all along the waterfront, including the footbridge behind me that goes over to the other side of Petaluma. There's a lot to do down here, and it also kind of evokes the history of the place. This riverfront, as I said before, was busy with trade. I mean, goods left this port for San Francisco in the form of dairy and eggs and grain. And those same ships brought goods back from the city that people in Petaluma needed to live their lives here. So it's kind of cool. I think when you're walking around downtown, the history sort of doesn't escape you. It's all around you, and I think that's what I love about this town. So if this is the vibe you're looking for, then I think what we should do next is go check out some of the neighborhoods that Petaluma has to offer and talk a little bit about the types of homes you can find here and real estate prices. So let's check it out. So now we're driving on the west side of Petaluma, and we're just west of downtown, a few blocks away. And this whole part of town, this is the original settlement of Petaluma, and most of these homes are Victorian or early 20th century homes. It comes at a price. I mean, the median price on this side of Petaluma is around $1.1 million, which already sounds expensive, but then, when you really drill into the details, that's not a very big house. I mean, these homes that are more sizable with 3 and 4 bedrooms, I mean, they're definitely $2+ million. A lot of them, the larger ones, modest home under 2,000 square feet that's redone on the west side might cost, somewhere in the 1.6 range. Obviously, a lot goes into determining the value of a home, and so I can't really give you like an exact price for a home in Petaluma on the west side, but we can take a look at some things that have sold, and I can give you little details about those. So on the west side, as I said, homes can be quite expensive, and this home behind me at 105th Street sold this fall for just over $1.1 million, which, as I said before, is the median price for homes on the west side. That said, it was 4 bedrooms, and it's a decent sized home, although it was in pretty vintage condition. It had many bedrooms upstairs, but only a half bath upstairs. The full bath was on the main level, which is very typical of a Victorian home. This home was built in the 1800s, so it's been here a long while. It's got tons of charm, but somebody who bought this is probably going to do a pretty extensive renovation. If you want more for 1.1, I would say you might want to shrink the size of home you want if you want it to be finished, or maybe look in the outer areas of Petaluma or even on the east side, which we'll travel to in a bit. So let's say you're committed to living on the west side of Petaluma and you have a little more money to spend than median price. Well, this house on the west side in the Oak Hill Brewster neighborhood just recently sold for a little over $1.6 million. And it was a 4-bedroom house with 3 full bathrooms, totally renovated, amazing curb appeal. And it also had a little Airbnb unit that could be rented out or even short-term rented with some income history, which is pretty cool. So, you can do for another $500,000, you can get quite a nice house on the west side and have, not a lot of work to do when you move in. So certainly life on the west side is amazing. You've got vintage homes with tons of character. You've got a wonderful walkable neighborhood with easy access to downtown and the Riverfront. You've got great schools over there. St. Vincent de Paul private school. You've got Petaluma High, McNair Elementary. The list goes on. That said, it is expensive to live on the west side. The east side of Petaluma also offers a lot of cool things, and I think it's certainly worth checking out if Petaluma is on your list of places in Sonoma County you might like to land. I'm sitting across the street from a home on Tulare on the east side, which is right also across the street from Sonoma Mountain Elementary School, an amazing school on the east side. This house was built in the 90s, has a more open floor plan, a better renovation, 5 bedrooms, and over 2,700 square feet to offer. And this house sold for 1.1, which is about the same price the house on the west side sold for, that had only 1,700 square feet and change and offered only 1.5 bathrooms with the half bathroom upstairs. And so I think it's certainly worth comparing and contrasting both sides. If you're somebody who really has your heart set on a vintage home and you want to be walkable to downtown and you have the money to spend to get the home you like on the west side, then by all means, that may be the neighborhood for you. But if that's not your situation and you're looking for more square footage for the price and you still want good schools, access to great shopping, and a Petaluma address, then the east side is definitely worth checking out. So that concludes our tour of Petaluma, California, and I hope it was useful to you, and I hope you learned a little something about life here and about real estate here in this wonderful town in Sonoma County. I'm Stephanie Johnson, and if you're searching for your perfect place to land in Sonoma County, then let me be your resource. Just hit subscribe and you'll get all of our videos, which we're going to be dropping every week, and hit the bell so that you're notified as soon as they hit YouTube. I'm really happy that I could spend this time with you, and I look forward to more videos and sharing with you all about life and real estate in Sonoma County. Thanks so much for watching.